Hi everybody, it's Jason Fierstein back, the Counselor for Men, and today we are talking about ways to prevent the slide into holiday hell at your family dinner table. I thought that we could have a little bit of fun with this today and talk about some funny things, but still, make make it so that your Thanksgiving dinner or other holiday meal can go as smooth as possible. I know that this time of the year it gets crazy out there between shopping and spending money and going to Christmas parties and family gatherings. It really erodes our ability to take care of ourselves and to de-stress. But also, when we get into these situations, especially with family, and then other factors we'll talk about, but when we get into family gathering situations, the worst gets brought out in us and in other people too, especially in our parents and siblings and extended family, but mostly in our nuclear family. I think that it's the most difficult time of the year because we're all around, sitting around the Thanksgiving turkey and drinking wine, and poof, before you know it, there's an explosion and someone's hurt or crying or left or driving home, something like that. So I'd like to try to help if I can, so I hope that these tips will be valuable to you. So I think that the first thing that we could talk about is having a plan. I think that this is important for a number of reasons, but having a plan to figure out how you're going to troubleshoot any potential conflicts or hazards at the family dinner table is really important. So what does that mean? Talking with your spouse, your wife or your girlfriend, husband, about what you need to do beforehand. So, oftentimes lately I've been talking with couples about how to hang in there together so that you don't get tag teamed by someone, a family member, asking you about a certain sensitive topic. Being on the same page. With guys, we want to go watch the Dallas Cowboys and do the football thing for 4 hours, and sometimes this pisses off the wife or girlfriend. So communicating about that beforehand, having a plan so that there is not anger or conflict, afterwards. So having a plan about that, having a plan about, okay, well, maybe we need an exit strategy too. If things are getting too heated and, Uncle Joe is getting drunk and saying stupid things at the dinner table and things get a little, hairy, then we need an exit strategy. So, how are we going to negotiate that beforehand, before we get there, and then we start freaking out because we don't have an exit. So, you need some kind of plan beforehand. For guys, I think the biggest thing to know, especially if you're hosting the Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas or Hanukkah dinner at your home, understand that your wife or girlfriend is super stressed. So not only is the family coming over, which is stressful, but you have to understand that she's putting in all of this work, probably cooking and dressing the place up, decorating and blah, 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 things like that. So she's under a lot of stress to perform. Added the family or close friend situation coming into the home, and you've got a potentially volatile situation. So guys, note to you here, okay, specifically, help out. Understand that she's under stress. Take some precautions to help, keep conflict at bay. I mean, we don't need to create more of it because you're not helping, or you're playing video games, or, you're watching like the pregame show before the show, or you're out at the bar having some drinks before dinner because things are going to get hairy. So offer to help. I like to think about this idea of promoting good customer service in your marriage or relationship. So asking, how can I help, I think is, of any time of the year, this is the one time where you want to start to get into that customer service ethic. How can I help? Just keep asking that, and she'll be able to give you some things to do, given that she's willing to admit a need for help. Sometimes she'll get mad at you because you're not asking, but yet she's also not communicating it to you. So I think that's really important. Also, the role of alcohol. When you get alcohol plus family members plus underlying issues equals an explosion. It's a perfect storm. So watch the alcohol. watch the sugar because you'll crash and then you might feel irritable afterwards. And, you know, one of your parents is bound to ask you a loaded question, and I don't want to have to see you, go on the offensive because of something that, a potentially conflict situation has come up. So watching the alcohol beforehand, maybe just making a vow to yourself or to each other, if you know it's going to be a volatile situation. I know commonly we would think, oh, well, let's just drink more to deal with this person. But actually, the alcohol is probably going to work in reverse for you. It's going to make you more prone to, more loose-lipped and more prone to saying something that you really don't want to say. So not so good there. So watch the alcohol, the sugar too. I've been joking with some friends like, you can just gorge on turkey because it's got tryptophan and it'll put you to sleep. So as a, in case of emergency thing, you can just eat way more turkey at the end, and hopefully just knock yourself out so you don't have to deal with situations. I'm just joking. Anyway, so the alcohol is one thing I think is important. Staying in, on neutral footing, I think. Not going into potentially volatile topics like money or marriage or children, parenting, those really emotionally loaded topics. I would suggest you don't even go there. So maybe part of your plan, you can come up with pre-designed topics, really safe topics. I would probably include politics and religion in the unsafe category, at least if you want just a safe, serene dinner. So come up with some topics, beforehand that you can go into. And if those loaded topics come up, if people ask you questions, for me, it's like, well, they'll ask me questions about our relationship or blah, blah, blah. You have the right to say, I don't feel comfortable talking about that, or I don't really want to talk about that here tonight. So I'm happy to talk with you about it some other point in time later, but just not tonight. So I think, reserving the right to say no, I don't want to go there, and then also coming up with some more neutral topics that you and your friends or your family can talk about. So anyway, these are a couple of tips that I'm thinking of for having at least trying to minimize the stress of your Thanksgiving or holiday dinner or party, because we all know how that goes. And, the holidays are a really stressful time of the year. As joyous as it looks out there in the world, it's really a time that a lot of people feel stressed and crunched for money and depressed and, overeaten and overdrank and all of those things. And family kind of coming in and making it worse. That's just, that's a time bomb waiting to explode. So I hope these tips will help you today, and happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving to you, and I'll see you soon.